Hello everyone. Thanks for joining in Top Producer webinar today. This is Spencer with Top Producer's Customer Success Team. Good to have you today. And this is going to be getting started with Top Producer X. So maybe you're a brand new Top Producer CRM user altogether, or maybe you've been with us for years and you've just started using Top Producer X. Either way, going to walk you through the settings, how to get started, some tips and tricks, how to use the follow-up coach to get your database on track and to follow up with people consistently, and things like that. And so let's have a good time today. So just to cover some administrative items here really quick. Like I said, this is Getting Started with Top Producer X, hosted by myself, Spencer, and I am joined by my friend and colleague, Marvin, who's one of our research technicians. He'll be manning the live chat here on YouTube. Helping to answer your questions, engage with you guys, and he'll also be throwing out some really helpful links to coincide with what we're talking about today. And speaking of the live chat, this is definitely an interactive show. All you have to do is log in with a Google account, and that's going to allow you to join in the show, comment, engage with us, ask questions, comments, things like that. We'd be happy to hear from you guys. And speaking of which, if you are able to comment, you are logged in, please feel free to tell us where you're coming from today, how long you've been in real estate for, how long you've been a top producer customer for. Anything else you feel like sharing would be great to hear from you all. So that being said, moving on, just want to point out our customer care team is here at any point if you need us. Maybe after the call you realize you want a little bit more one-on-one help. Feel free to reach out. You can use the live chat support in the bottom right corner of your CRM or any top producer product. You can also call us at 1-800-830-8300. Both of those options are available Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. in Pacific Standard Time. And you can also reach out to our help desk at support@topproducer.com. Just please allow 1 or 2 business days in some cases for a response via email there. So just one moment here, guys. Sorry. All right, sorry about that, guys. Just had to tend to something there quickly. So anyway, moving on. So this is the game plan for today. We're going over Top Producer X's settings, raising some awareness for what should be set up first and why you should set it up and how it's going to benefit you and customize the CRM to you and your business. After that, we'll go over ways to build your TPX contact database. So whether you want to bring contacts in from a spreadsheet, use our contact sync to bring contacts in from an email service or both, we have you covered. And then using the follow-up coach, you can effectively get on top of your database, clean it up, categorize people, and also get a lot of legitimate follow-up activities done at the same time. And then finally, we'll finish off with some extra resources, how to reach out to us once again, point you in the direction of some great quick start videos and other articles and things like that. Sorry, guys. Just one moment here. All right, sorry about that, guys. So anyway, on to the first point. So this is create a solid foundation for success by learning about vital TPX settings first. So everything from email integration, MLS connectivity, things like that, you're going to want to know how to set that up and how it's going to benefit you. It's going to make your life easier, and the CRM allow it to be your database for just about everything real estate related. So let's just jump right into TPX and show you what I'm talking about. So right as you log in here, you'll be greeted with your business pipeline along the top here. But before we do that, let's just make sure everyone is logged in. So if you've never logged into TPX before, you can navigate to crm.topproducer.com. You'll be at the login screen here, and Marvin can also link you to that. So if you're not sure what your login credentials are, if you haven't been able to access the CRM yet, please feel free to reach out to our customer care team. We can help you gain access if you're not sure where to look or how to get your credentials. You should have received an email if you're a brand new user. But if not, you can always use the reset your password feature, forgot password. Put in your email address associated with your account here, and that's going to allow you to reset your password and gain access pretty quickly. So if you're good to go, we can go ahead and sign in. Maybe you're in the old version of Top Producer 8i, and you're seeing something like this. Well, then you can actually go ahead and just click the TPX button at the top of the screen here, and that's going to get you logged right into the newer version. And as we see, TPX considerably more sleeker looking here. This is definitely the modern version. This is the place to be for 2021 real estate database management. So that being said, along the top of the screen here, as I said, business pipeline represented by these 5 main status tabs. There is new for brand new leads that come into your system, people that you need to reach out to as soon as possible. So maybe you have your lead providers linked up to Top Producer X and it's pushing leads into your CRM. They're going to land under the new tab. You can, of course, create brand new leads manually and put them here if you want as well, signifying that you need to reach out to them still. After that first initial point of contact, you can switch them to engage. And if you are using the follow-up coach feature to do these kind of things, it's going to automatically switch them to engage anyway. So after engage, maybe you're kind of warming them up. You're seeing if they're a serious buyer or seller. You're seeing if you can get them to work with you right now. And maybe they're more of a long-term opportunity. Maybe you need to stay in touch with them. They're not really ready to go right now. You can switch them to future to signify that. Maybe you do successfully convert them to being your active client. Maybe they're ready to go, and you can switch them right over to active to signify that instead. And then finally, there is the close status. That's for closed transactions, past clients, money has been made, and these people you still want to stay in touch with for other opportunities. Maybe repeat business down the road. Maybe they'll want you to help them sell a house if you've helped them buy one, and they could also provide you with referrals. So good to stay in touch with them, and TPX makes that super easy. Okay. Do apologize for the pauses there, guys. I keep getting pulled away and I'll have to deal with something else after, but not a big deal. So basically, yeah, these 5 main statuses, there is a couple big reasons why you'd want to use these. One being obviously your own organization. It's just easier to keep things split up and tap into them that way. But there's also the follow-up coach, which is one of the biggest features in the CRM. And this is going to allow you to stay on track with your database. It's great if you're a brand new user. It's going to present you contacts that you should reorganize your database, categorize properly, and then you can also take a moment to follow up with them, document that whole follow-up process, and schedule another follow-up activity all at once. And maybe you've been using Top Producer for a few weeks or a few months or years. Well, your follow-up coach should be more curated at that point. If you are using consistently, if you are staying on top of your database, it's going to allow you to maintain that level of consistency. So before we jump too much into that, what I'm going to do actually is have us go into the settings, because unless you configure your CRM properly, it's not truly going to be customized to you. It's not going to be ready to go. So we're going to touch more on the follow-up coach and things in just a little bit. But for now, let's go down to the settings button in the bottom left corner. If you're following along, that's great. If not, perfectly fine too. Definitely can reference this video later or just listen in, take some notes and things like that. So what we're going to do, once we head down to the settings button, right off the bat, you'll land on the My Information page. So this is your CRM sort of private profile, containing your address, phone numbers, etc. And some of this information it's going to use to pull in for email templates and things like that. So just to make it clear, this is not usually client or lead facing automatically. It's just going to pull information from here. Now, if you do have our Top Producer Pro bundle, which is Top Producer X and Market Snapshot together, this is a little bit more vital to fill out sooner than later, just because Market Snapshot is a great tool for sending out, custom market reports to all sorts of contacts. And it's going to pull information from here to make up your branding that goes on the report. So a little bit more vital to have, obviously, your email, phone number up to date in here, social media info, picture, company logo, things like that. But yeah, so if you want to work on this, just click on the Edit My Info. And then here you can work on this information. So what I recommend is, if you want to upload a headshot and a logo, just do them one at a time, and then try going down to the bottom and clicking Save My Info, and then fill out the text information separately. And the reason I say that is because if you try to upload a picture that's too big for Top Producer X to handle, it will give you sort of a generic error about a connection error. So you want to shrink down that picture if it's too big. If you see the size of the image here, it can handle something a couple times bigger, maybe 4 or 5 times bigger. But if it's like, let's say 10, 20 times bigger than this, it will usually give you an error. You'll have to shrink it down manually on your computer a little bit. I recommend using Microsoft Paint or something like that. If you're on a Windows computer, something simple to shrink it down. But if you're not sure how to do something like that, feel free to reach out to us. Contact our customer care team. We can walk you through that. No, not a problem at all. So then after you upload the photos, like I said, I recommend saving that and then going back and filling out this info. I'd say the biggest priorities are checking on your agent email. Make sure this is your best email for account recovery. If you need to reset your password, it's going to go here. This should also be the email that you receive notifications from, like, someone inquires about a property through your market snapshot report. It's going to go to this email. And you also want to check on your time zone, color theme if you have market snapshot. And yeah, like I said, the rest you can come back and update later. And then, so for now, let's just click Save My Info. So what we're going to do next is jump down to email integration. So this is the 5th option down. And one thing I recommend setting up as soon as possible. It's one of the biggest, most useful features in the CRM in terms of communicating with your clients and documenting information via email correspondence. So how this works, you can actually integrate your existing business email with Top Producer X, and then you're going to be able to send and receive emails through the CRM. All your past and future correspondence through your email is reflected here in Top Producer X. So you can imagine why this is a great asset. You had some past email conversations. You need to reference that as you're following up with someone to check on some details or see if they've opened your email so you can follow up with them again accordingly, so on and so forth. That's where email integration comes in. So to set this up, I'm going to use a Google account as an example. And I'm just going to click Authorize Email. I know a lot of users use Google. It's pretty common. So just to show you what this looks like, we are going to go ahead and, so it says choose an account. You just click on the Google account you want to use in this case. It's going to ask you for these permissions. And I've already done this, so I'm just going to skip this. But normally you would just click Allow and then follow one more step after that just to confirm. And then you should be brought back to the email integration page. You'll see your email below under connected email accounts. And if it says running, that means you're good to go. You can now send and receive emails through TPX. Your history is all there in the contact records. And anything you send through TPX is going to be reflected in your actual email inbox because it actually is truly linked to it. So if I link up my Gmail and I send an email to a contact through TPX, I can go into my Gmail afterwards, check my sent folder, and there it is. So great feature. Because the deliverability on it is going to be excellent. It's coming from your actual email service, so it's not going to be caught up in spam filters and things like that. It's truly coming from you, and then afterwards, that leads me to the next subject here, which is email signatures. After you set up an email signature, you can then configure your email for it. So you just go ahead and click right on the line here for the email. And as you can see, I have my signature set in here. I basically have just copied and pasted this from my Gmail and then fixed it up a little bit in this editor box here just to make the formatting match as closely as possible. And so yeah, in most cases, you can just copy and paste over your existing signature. If you're having any issues with that, just please reach out to us and we can assist you with that process. So what you do then, you just go ahead and click Save Signature to carry on. And as you've noticed here, I have more than one email integrated. I have 4 different emails. So this is definitely something you can do. If you use more than one email for your business, you can integrate them as well. So this is going to allow you to send from more than one email and also read the correspondence between your contacts and more than one email address. So I know one scenario right off the top of my head that I can think of that this might be useful for is maybe you're an agent that has an assistant, and maybe that assistant helps you manage your emails and stay on top of them. Well, in that case, you could have your main agent user set up with your own email. And then if you had a second license, you can then set up your assistant as an assistant user. They could integrate their email, and they could also integrate your email. So then that's going to let them view the correspondence between you and the contacts. And they could also send emails on your behalf if that's what you wanted them to do as well. So pretty flexible, good feature. And yeah, I'll show you more of that just a little bit later. So what we're going to do now is move down to Google Calendar Sync. And this is something is really great to link up your Top Producer X calendar with your Google Calendar so that all your time-sensitive appointments get pushed to your Google Calendar and vice versa. You can imagine how this is great on the go with your smartphone. You can check your calendar, reference it really quick. It's all integrated, and you don't have to jump into your Top Producer to see that. Now, there is 2 things I'd like to point out, very important. One, it only does synchronize your appointments. So just please be aware of that. It only synchronizes the time-sensitive appointments. And 2, if you plan on using our contact sync feature to bring in contacts from an email service such as Google, iCloud, Outlook, please just hold off for now on using this Google Calendar Sync. And the reason for that is because you'll want to set up contact sync first and then authorize the calendar sync. Because if you authorize the calendar sync, it's actually going to hide this contact sync feature as a technical safeguard. There's an interaction, but they're very closely related, and so it's just a technical safeguard. So I'll come back to that soon. So Google Calendar Sync, really great to have, but please, if you want to use it, just hold off on it just for now until we go over some more setup things. So what we're going to go down to next is lead providers. So lead providers. So you might be paying for online lead generation. You might be paying some really good money for chance at online leads. Excellent. So you're going to want to get them right into your Top Producer CRM so that you can start managing them within this environment as soon as possible, right? Less time in between, you hearing about that lead and you having to, input them in your Top Producer, the better. And this is going to push them into your Top Producer instantly. They're going to show up under the new tab on your contacts page. You can jump right in there, and anytime you get a new lead, you can rest assured that they're going to be in your Top Producer where they're ready to go. So really useful. How this works is you have this myleads.io address here in your CRM. You can just copy that and paste that into your lead providers. So your lead providers should have a section in their settings for lead forwarding or lead notifications. So you can copy and paste this address into there, and that's going to push that new contact or lead to your Top Producer X CRM automatically. So if given the option, I highly recommend forwarding that lead notification to your email as you normally would, but then also to your Top Producer X CRM. So then that way you get the contact pushed into TPX and you get that standard email notification that you're used to. Now, for our users that have our 5 Street service as well, 5 Street is great for lead aggregation. It can consolidate all your lead sources into one area that'll send out automated responses. It'll notify you by text and email in the exact same standardized way every time, and it'll push them to Top Producer X CRM after. So if you're using 5 Street, you don't have to use this myleads.io. It has its very own 5street.me address that you use instead. So if you'd like more information about that, you can feel free to reach out to me here, or you can also call our customer care department, and we can help you set up, your CRM with 5 Street if you have 5 Street as well. Or if you just want to know more about 5 Street, like I said, feel free to reach out. I can definitely reach out to you after the show. So lead providers, very easy to use. If you want to see a list of all officially supported lead providers, just click on this one at the top here, this link. This is going to take you to a page on our support website that's going to show you over 150 officially supported lead providers. So these ones we know will work with Top Producer CRM. Even if it's not on the list, there's a high chance, as long as it's in the correct format, it should work. I'd always say play around with it, test it out, and if you need any help with that, just reach out to our customer care team. So next on the list here is Market Snapshot. So Market Snapshot, this is for our Top Producer Pro bundle users or Market Snapshot subscribers. In case you don't know what Market Snapshot is, it is a very flexible, really nicely detailed custom market report that has a ton of value into it. So, in it, I should say. So you can send this to new leads to show them properties that they might be interested in. They can browse through them. They can reach out to you once they find something they like, allowing you to really get the ball rolling. Past clients, you can send them a snapshot to stay on top of their home's value, see how it compares to their neighbors and things like that. So anyone, new leads to past clients, anywhere in between, Market Snapshot is super helpful. It's great for constant touches. You can have it go out every 2 weeks by default. It's going to notify them every day about market activity via listing alert emails. And so if you want to send something to your contacts that's of value, but you're not sure what that looks like, Market Snapshot is a great answer to that. So what I'm going to do here is, before I actually talk about the settings, let's just go take a look at a Market Snapshot to show you an example here. So I'm just going to open up a Market Snapshot here. Just let that load for a sec. So this is a Market Snapshot report. As you can see, it's got my branding all attached to it here. It's got my name, phone, email, picture, things like that, company logo. If I scroll down to the very bottom, it has my LinkedIn profile there and whatever else I wanted to add. So it's all about the report, like all about the properties in the report, you solidifying yourself as the go-to professional, and about the recipient, of course. So they can browse through here. They can look at different properties. They can click right on this map here. And they can scroll around. They can zoom in. Maybe they want to unclutter this and get rid of the sold properties. That's easy. They just click on sold. Boom. And they're all gone. Maybe they don't want to see the expired. They click on that. They're gone. They can narrow it down however they want. So now I've narrowed it down to new, for sale, and for sale in this example. I can scroll around here pretending I'm the buyer. Maybe I like the idea of a house right near this park here. So I can go ahead and click on this one. It's going to highlight it on the right side of the page. You can click on it over here to learn more. So then just give this a moment to load. We see all the images pulled in from the MLS. We see full property details here, which are expandable. All the different bits of information about this place. There's also schools nearby. Really great for families. They can see which schools are nearby, how far they are, what grades they cover, things like that. Neighborhood amenities. You want to see which restaurants, grocery stores, gas stations, etc. in the area. There you go. That's powered by Yelp. And then there's a couple things that your recipient can do here. Maybe they're just browsing and they see this little heart symbol up here. And we all know people like to go ahead and click on things and scroll and like things on Instagram, thumbs up, heart, etc. Well, same thing here. They can click this heart symbol. That's going to notify you as the agent, saying that they're interested in this one, or they've liked this one, I should say. And so even if they haven't specifically inquired about it, that can be a great conversation starter. You can reach out to them and say, hey, I saw you like this listing. Maybe you want to talk more about it. What do you say? And so that you can get the ball rolling with that. And there is also a direct inquiry form down here. They can send you a message containing the address and MLS ID number. So you can really just get down to business, document that in their contact record, and start working on that with them. So that's the great thing about Market Snapshot. Like I said, all about the recipient, the properties they're interested in, tailoring it to them, and solidifying yourself as their go-to agent, their go-to professional for all things real estate. Because this report, they can find these properties on other websites, Zillow, Realtor.com, etc. But you've sent them this, you've put in the effort to make them a report that is customized to them. It's got your branding attached to it. And so, like I said, it's a great way to keep leads and provide them something of value. So that is that's Market Snapshot in a nutshell. So what we're going to do now is go back to the settings, go back to Market Snapshot. And then right here there is a bunch of different settings, which honestly, if you're a new user to Market Snapshot, I would recommend not worrying too much about. As you learn more about Market Snapshot, you can definitely come back and customize this. And if you do change anything, and you want to see how that looks in the report, just feel free to click on View Sample at the bottom. This is also great if you've customized your, your color scheme, your pictures, social media links, etc. in your My Profile or My Information page. You can click on View Sample to see what that would look like. And if you make any changes, just make sure you click on Save Market Snapshot Settings. So that's that for now. We're going to go down to MLS credentials. So MLS credentials, this is where you can link up your MLS board, allowing you to make use of Market Snapshot, allowing you to make use of Property Insights, which is a really easy to use documentation tool for keeping track of all the different properties your buyers are interested in, or have inquired on, or you've shown them, or you've sent them to look at, so on and so forth, or they've made an offer on. And then at that point, you can also use that same MLS connectivity to turn that insight into an actual manageable transaction in TPX. So very easy to use, and it's such a great, simple way to stay on top of all the different properties and notes and details about that problem. Maybe Joe didn't like the kitchen in one place and you wanted to note that down. Maybe there was some concerns that you had that you wanted to note down, so etc. You can do that with Property Insights. Keep it all organized in one place. So to get started with that, you would just click on Add MLS Credentials. And then you search for your MLS board here. So let's say you are with Canopy MLS for an example. I started to type in Canopy. It's popping up here. I can just click on it. Then I would enter my agent MLS ID number and then just click Save Credentials. So if you're having any issues finding your board in this list, try searching for maybe the area name. Like I found Michigan Regional Information Center here. Let's see. Most of them go by their MLS name, but sometimes it can be a little bit tricky the way they display in here. So if you need any help with this, we're always here for you. Our customer care team can definitely help you pinpoint your MLS board. If you're not sure how to get this linked up, like I said, we do generally have a lot of MLS information available on our side, so just feel free to reach out if you need anything. But after you fill that out, just go ahead and click on Save Credentials. And it should take you back here and say Status Valid for your MLS. And if it does, that means you're good to go with Property Insights, Transactions, Market Snapshot. So that's all you have to do to get started with that. And so what we're going to do now is move down to Task Plans Manager. So Task Plans Manager, very flexible, very powerful feature that's going to allow you to curate your own custom task plans. So anything from new lead follow-up plans to transaction checklists, you can create that here in Task Plans Manager. So you can be reminded to make calls to other to-dos, tasks you have to take care of. And coming soon, we will be including emails and texting in here as well. So for now, it is just for calling and to-dos, but that will be expanded on in the near future. So you can go ahead and browse templates here. Search templates. We have 3 that are included. So let's say you want to use this transaction template as a starting point, and you say, hey, that looks pretty good. You can customize this later. So you just go Import Plan. You can name it your own thing and save it. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have your own custom version of that plan that you can then work on. So like this, see, here's a plan I imported, one of the base ones, and I can go in and edit this plan. I can change the name, details. I can go in and change all the different tasks here. And this is something that I'd recommend maybe digging into a little bit later. Just wanted to point out it's here. So I would highly recommend getting the rest of your settings configured, get some of your database in. More than anything, get your active clients and your best leads in here and start managing them. And then maybe play around with the Task Plans Manager afterwards. Because there's plenty of ways to follow up with people besides using the task plans. This is obviously a great addition, but you want to get in there, use the follow-up coach, things like that first before really, using up too much of your time configuring these plans, I would say. But like I said, it always is here. It's a great long-term thing to use to allow even more consistency and customize it to your business and and how you like to do things. So for more information on task plans, I recommend, like I said, get the rest of your CRM set up first. Feel free to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to walk you through that. So last but not least in the settings here, we have texting. So texting in TPX allows you to put in your cell phone number. And then TPX is going to give you a virtual texting number that you can then use to send and receive text messages between you and your contacts right within the CRM. So you can actually type them up on your keyboard, send them off. You'll see them on the CRM, and they'll receive them pretty quick. And if they respond, you can see that documented right within the contact record. So this is great for new lead follow-up. They don't know your number yet anyway, usually. You can advertise this virtual number, put it on business cards, put it in an email signature, put it on your website, etc. And then that way, if someone calls you, it's going to route it to your actual phone so you will not miss a call. If they text you, it's going to let you know you have a new text message from so-and-so phone number. And if you go ahead and add them in TPX after that, that's going to then display as their name going forward. You'll be able to view that texting history right within their contact record. So to set this up, you basically just put in your phone number here and then click Save Texting Setup at the bottom. And here, let me just show you what this looks like. So enter your phone number without any spaces or hyphens or anything. So just like straight up, just like that, and then click on Save Texting Setup. Texting setup registered successfully. Within a few seconds, you should receive a text message on your cell phone asking you to reply with confirm. So I just got mine. I'm just going to take a second here to take care of that. Confirm, send it off. And then now that I've replied with confirm, I'm going to give it a few more seconds and then click on check status at the top right here. And you'll see now it's got a green check mark. It says it's been successfully set up for texting. And here's my texting number now. So you can take this last number, like I said, you can advertise it. Feel free to play around with it. Get your friends or a spouse or whoever to send a message to this, see how it looks. Try creating a contact for them in TPX. Send them a message through here, see how that looks. And just a great little tool. Send off messages on your keyboard. You're already in their contact record, already referencing maybe property insights, emails, things like that. Great place to jump in, send them a text message for some really quick, easy follow-up, and have it documented in the exact same space in TPX as everything else to do with that person. So that is the settings of Top Producer X covered. Like I said, just wanted to raise some awareness for what they're all about, why you should take the time to configure them, and how they can really benefit you and your business and your experience with the CRM going forward. So the sooner that you get everything relevant to you set up, the better, and you can really start digging in after that. So what we're going to talk about next is importing contacts. So as I'm saying here, you can import contacts from spreadsheet or from email services via contact sync. So if you have a spreadsheet on your computer, a CSV file, maybe from your MLS, maybe from a different CRM, or maybe a list that you just put together yourself over the years, you can import that into Top Producer X. And there is some intricacies to it. You do have to spend some time to make sure that the import comes in as smoothly as possible with the most information as possible. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So I highly recommend do not jump through the importing contacts process. It is very important. Doing it right the first time will save you a lot of frustration down the road and having to redo that and things like that and clean it up after. So, and then we'll also talk about contact sync, which you can link up to an existing email that has contacts in it, such as an Outlook account, Apple iCloud, Google, things like that. And it's going to pull in all those contacts. It's going to keep them up to date both ways. So this is a great way to bring in existing contacts, but also keep TPX up to date. Maybe you're on the go, you have your cell phone, you enter a new contact in your Android phone, it's pushed to your Google account, it's pushed to Top Producer X. Maybe you have an iPhone, you enter a contact in your phone, it's pushed to iCloud, it's pushed to TPX. You see where I'm going. So let's jump back to Top Producer X to talk about that. So once again, settings bottom left. Let's cover importing contacts first. So like I said, this is for importing from a spreadsheet file. All you do is click on choose file to import. You browse your computer for CSV file, you double click on it. And then you'll see here there's a couple different things. There's contact status, contact types, and field mappings. So let's start with at the top here. Contact status. I did mention these earlier. In case you did join late though, quick explanation again. Contact statuses are a representation of your business's pipeline, and each contact in your real estate business can fall into one of these 5 main statuses to signify, where they are in your business, right? How much attention they need, etc. So what you'll want to do here is you want to think about your spreadsheet that you're importing and think about what the majority of them are. Are you importing a list of all past clients? Well, then you should go ahead and click on close to import them as closed transactions past clients. Maybe you are importing a brand new list of leads that you're yet to farm. Feel free to go put that into new. Maybe you're just importing a bunch of people over the years. You've been kind of keeping in touch with them long term, once in a while. They're not really an active opportunity, but you're just trying to stay in touch. I'd recommend putting those into future. Then obviously for your active clients, if you have a list of those, you can input those into active. Engage, once again, is for contacts that you have followed up with, but not yet qualified. So you're not sure really yet where they belong. You've just followed up with them, a new lead, and you're still trying to feel it out. So if you're importing contacts that do not fall into those categories for some reason, there is also inactive and non-client, but I would not usually recommend using those as they won't fall into the follow-up coach. You won't be reminded about them and things like that. But they do have their purpose for, keeping a record of other professionals you work with, other realtors, lawyers, inspectors, etc. So let's say we are importing a bunch of future contacts. We'd select future. And then contact types, this box here. So contact types, actually, very, very flexible feature in Top Producer. They're like tags or folders. So I'll show you a couple built-in ones here. There's buyer. Oops. Buyer, it's green. Seller is red. Past client is yellow. So these ones are color-coded. The other ones are not, as you can see here, because it doesn't mean they're any less significant. It just means that these 3 are the main contact types in Top Producer CRM, because they're going to use them for every single contact, essentially. So maybe you're importing a bunch of future buyer prospects. You can take them with buyer. But you can also make your own contact types on the fly. So maybe you want to call this something like MLS import. You can go ahead and do that. Maybe you want to tag them with the date of import. You can do that. Maybe you want to say that these are a list of your hottest leads, for example. You could do that. Add that type. And so on and so forth. Whatever you want to do with this. There's no really wrong way to use it. Whatever's going to help you stay organized is the best way to use this. So after you've decided what your contact status and contact type should be, we can work on the field mappings now. So this is definitely the most vital part. And I do just humbly ask, please make sure you do pay attention to this section. It is very important to make sure that your contacts come in properly with the correct field mappings, or else you're going to be ripping your hair out later. It's going to be frustrating if your contacts don't come in properly. So let me show you how to make the most of this. So right off the bat here, we have field mappings: first name, last name, email address. So on the left side, these are examples of what is in your spreadsheet. So everything on the left side is what your spreadsheet columns are called. And then on the right side, you have to select what you would like to map that up to in Top Producer CRM. So in this case, this actually matches up perfectly. First name to first name, last name to last name, email address to email address. So this one was kind of made for Top Producer, but you can use pretty much any spreadsheet in here, any CSV file. So maybe your column for first name says name -- first, or maybe it just says name or something like that. You want to think about it and match it up to the correct field. So let's say there's a spot for spouse name and spouse last name. You could map that one up to secondary first name and secondary last name, for example. Maybe there's email 1, email 2, email 3. You could do email 1 to email address, You could do email to other emails, and so on and so forth. Maybe you have phone 1, phone 2, phone 3. Well, chances are phone 1 is probably going to be mobile phone. So you can go ahead and let's just pretend this was phone 1. You can select mobile phone. Maybe phone 2 is probably home phone. You can set that to home phone. And there's business phone and other phones, and etc. and so forth. So like I said, take your time through this. If you're not sure, you can always contact our customer care department. We'd be happy to walk you through this, give you some tips and tricks, talk about your spreadsheet in your business, and see how to best make this work for you. And then there's a couple really handy ones here too, like contact type. So we talked about contact types earlier: buyer, seller, past client, a-lead, lawyer, realtor, whatever you want it to be used for, right? So if you have a column in your spreadsheet that you could use for a contact type, so maybe your contacts are already labeled as like buyer, past client, seller, agent, etc. You can actually map that column up to contact type. And that's going to individually map contact types to the contacts. So very useful to get a head start, to bring that existing information into Top Producer X. Because if you apply contact type up here, just please note, this is going to apply to every single contact in the import, which can be useful for something like MLS import or date or whatever it is if they do apply. But in case the contact type doesn't apply to everyone and you want to individually apply them, you can use this contact type field mapping if that's an available thing in your spreadsheet. It doesn't have to be called contact type. It can be called label, type, whatever it is from your previous system. You can match that up to contact type here. And then if you also have a column that contains notes about those contact, feel free to add that to, link that to add to contact notes. That's going to pull in that information and put it in the notes section. Just please note these two fields, contact type and add to contact notes, you can only use them once per import each. So just please choose wisely and just be aware of that. So after you've reviewed this, you've made sure the contact status makes the most sense. Maybe you have a mixture of contacts in that spreadsheet. Just think about what the majority of them are, because if they're 80% past clients and 20% future contacts, you probably want to still import to closed. And then it's going to be less work for you to move the ones out from closed that don't belong thereafter. Make sure you have your contact types applied appropriately. Double, triple check your field mapping as go through them one at a time. If this process takes you 15, 20, 30 minutes, I guarantee you it's worth it to take that time. And like I said, if you aren't sure, you can always use the live chat feature in the bottom right of your CRM here. If you reach out right now, you could talk to Dan Salcedo. Dan would be happy to give you some tips and advice on how to do that and answer your questions about the import. And you could also pick up the phone and call us at our customer care team department, and we'd be happy to help you with that as well. But yeah, after you've verified that everything's good to go here, feel free to click on import contacts and start that process. And then what's going to happen next is you are going to be brought back to the import contact screen. And then at the bottom here, it's going to say, it's going to show you the status of your import. There'll be a check status button. So let me just show you this here. Just going to go ahead and import this as a test. So you'll see here recent imports. It'll say number of contacts 0 and it'll say in progress. Please don't worry if it stays like this. You do have to click check status once it's finally done. So just click this button once in a while, maybe every minute or so, just see if it's done. If it's a lot of contacts, this can take, maybe a couple minutes at most. Just so click check status. Now it says completed, 2 contacts imported in this example. And then you're good to go. So that's importing from a spreadsheet. Now, very quickly, we're going to touch on contact sync. So that's the option just above import contacts. So like I said, this is if you want to bring contacts in from a email platform, Google, iCloud, Outlook, that kind of thing. You just put that email address in here and follow the steps to log in and verify that email. Just please note, it will bring in every contact from that platform. So if you have a bunch of personal contacts in your Gmail that you want to bring in, just think about it if that's a good option for you. It's up to you. because they'll all come in under the future status. They will be tagged automatically with Gmail or Outlook or iCloud. So it's not the end of the world. What you can do is you can make a custom tab view for that type afterwards. You can sort through that on its own, sift through that, recategorize people in your spare time, start, organizing your database. You could also mass update all those contacts to a different status and get them out of the way with if you wanted to until you had some time to deal with them, so on and so forth. Yeah, just think about if that's a good option for you. It's not the worst thing in the world to have personal contacts in here as well. This can be your address book as well. You can reference whatever you want about anyone, check emails between you and them, even if they're not real estate related. But that's completely up to you. You can turn off the sync at any point, by the way, and that will just break the link between the synchronization. It's not going to delete anything though, so just keep that in mind. But that, like I said, if you do this, maybe you didn't mean to, there are ways to search for all the contacts that you've imported like this and delete them to undo that if you need to. So that's Contact Sync. Great for keeping your Gmail or Outlook or iCloud up to date with your top producer. And if there's a contact that did not originate in your email, maybe you added in Top Producer or imported it via CSV file, you can manually add that contact to the sync to have them push back to your email service. So that's Contact Sync. And then, so like I said, if you plan on importing your contacts and using our Google Calendar sync, I highly recommend doing it in this order of importing from spreadsheet, then activating Contact Sync, because the Contact Sync feature actually has a built-in duplication checker. So it'll check your TPX database for anything that it thinks is the same person. So phone number, email address, name, it'll try to cross-reference that and see if there's a match. It'll do its best to make sure that it doesn't create duplicates. And then finally, after setting up those two, you'll want to set up Google Calendar Sync if you want to use that, because then you've got your contacts in, you've got those features set up, and it's safe to set up the Calendar Sync at that point. So that is importing contacts in Contact Sync. If you guys have any more questions about that, we do have, for example, if you go to import contacts, feel free to click on this little question mark symbol here to learn more. That's going to bring you to the support page for importing contacts, a little walkthrough with a video that actually I helped put together. And so that was the first video I ever created for Top Producer. I think it's still a great asset. You can reference it as many times as you want. It's only about 3.5 minutes or something, covering importing contacts. So that's that for the settings. Now, we do have about 10 minutes left. Let's jump into the follow-up coach and show you why this is such a great way to get started and stay on track afterwards. So, follow-up coach, I like to refer to it as your portal to get work done in the CRM, whether that would be database cleanup or contact follow-up, or both at the exact same time. So you have to give the follow-up coach the correct information first. You have to tell it who's who, and then after that, it's going to help keep you on track. It's going to provide you with that business model, if you will, of consistency. Your leads will be impressed, your clients will be impressed, and you'll be one happy agent. So let's take a look at the follow-up coach. We're going to go into TPX again. Let's click on the Contacts tab at the top left here. So along the top, your business pipeline, new, engage, future, active, closed, follow-up coach. So it's its own tab here. This is what it looks like. 5 contacts at a time that it believes need your attention as soon as possible. So if you don't see any contacts in here, please don't panic. Basically, it just means that you may have recently imported contacts, and it needs about 24 hours for it to kick in after that. So if you just recently imported contacts, give it a day. Work through some settings, check out our quick start video library in the meantime so you can get a head start on learning about the features, and then wait that 24 hours and start digging in with the follow-up coach. So follow-up coach, 5 contacts at a time, 5 tiles across the screen representing people in various statuses that the follow-up coach is recommending you either follow up with or at least recategorize in your database. So either way, you're getting work done to getting your database on track and following up with people. So here is an example. Let's look at Betsy and Dave Garish here. Betsy and Dave, they're future contacts. And it says here, schedule a follow-up to ensure imported contacts don't fall through the cracks. So what the follow-up coach is really saying is, I don't really know where these people belong. I think they're just part of a recent import. They're just grouped in there. There's no guarantee that they actually are a future contact. Maybe they're a past client. Maybe they're a new lead. So you need to tell the coach who they are so that it can start helping you going forward. So let's go ahead and click on this tile here. Open up this person's contact record. It's going to elaborate in the top right here. So the purple is always the follow-up coach. And it's saying update their pipeline status, contact type, and who they should be assigned to. So like I said, it's asking you to get them on track so that you're organizing your database and it can legitimately help you going forward. So let's do all that at once. So let's go down to the edit contact button at the bottom here, the blue one. Click on that. Oh, let's try that again. Okay, sorry about that. So edit contact. So this is the edit screen. Let's scroll all the way down to the bottom. And you'll see here that there's contact status and contact types. So let's say in this example, who is it, Dave? Yeah, Dave and Betsy. Let's say they were not a future contact. Maybe in this case, they were only an engaged contact. So maybe someone that I followed up with, but not yet qualified. So there's still a lead that I'm working on. And they were part of my spreadsheet. Maybe I just recently got in touch with them. So let's switch them to engage to signify that. Let's say they're also buyers. Let's type in buyer. And then maybe they're one of my best leads right now. Maybe they're hot lead. Maybe they're ready to go. They're active. They're ready to buy. I can signify that whichever way I want. Maybe I like the terminology a lead. I can add that in here and then add that as a custom contact type. Maybe I like to go by hot lead. I can add that in there as well, whichever way I like. So now I've updated their status to reflect where they actually are in my business. I've added the contact type buyer and hot lead to help categorize them further. This is going to help me search for them easier. It's going to help me make custom lists that I can reference, set custom follow-up timeframes for, and so on and so forth. Let's go down to the bottom, click on Save Contact. So now you'll see on the left side, contact type, buyer, hot lead. Up here, contact status, engage. So let's mark this as done in the follow-up coach. But wait a second, the follow-up coach, unsurprisingly, is primarily about follow-up with a name like that. So it's asking, how did we reach out? Well, we haven't reached out to them. But you know what? If we go back here, Betsy and Dave, like I said, they're an engaged lead. They're one of our hottest leads right now. Maybe now is a great opportunity to reach out to them. So in this example, let's say I said, now's the time. Let's pick up the phone. I call Betsy and Dave, say, hey guys, this is Spencer with so-and-so Realty. How have you been doing the past few days? I know it's been a little bit since we talked. Wanted to reach out to you guys, see how you're doing. Maybe we can meet up and discuss my services and go over some properties. By the way, I've already sent you a great market snapshot report. So if you want to take a look at that in your inbox, let me know what you think. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. But I think you're really going to like some of the properties in that report. And, they might say, hey, Spence, thanks for reaching out. We appreciate you following up with us. That report sounds excellent. I'm going to check it out right away, and I'll get back to you. And he said, awesome, guys. Thanks for your time. Talk to you again soon. So then what you can do is you can then mark as done. Let the CRM know that you did follow up via phone call. Say they're still engaged. We're not sure if they're going to be our client yet. We'll save that for later. Say, great call. Told lead I sent them market snapshot. They're excited. Wants to talk again in a few days. So then I've documented that we made that call. I'm saying that they're still engaged for now. We're not switching their status, but you can if you want. And then you capturing the details about that call as a note that will be linked to that call activity. And then you could save the wrap up right now, but why not take it a step further and schedule that follow up right now so you don't forget. So let's say they just wanted you to call them in a few days. They didn't specify. Just click on call. Follow up. Let's call this follow up with hot lead. And then let's click on the calendar here. Let's set the date to, maybe Thursday, a couple days from now. And then that's going to remind me on my calendar, on my task list for the day, to reach out to them, and just whenever I get a chance. Maybe they specified that they wanted to talk exactly at 12:30 p.m. let's say around noon. So I can set that to appointment. Let's say I set that to 12:30. And that's going to specify that exact time on your calendar and your task list. Then we can go ahead and click on Save Wrap Up, and that's going to take care of all of this at once. So go back to the contact record here, task complete. That's the call activity. We got the most recent note attached to this call. So if I click on Call Made, it's going to take me right to that exact task showing that call. So essentially it automatically creates a call and immediately wraps it up to signify that it's done right then. It's documented, that note's attached to it. You can click back to the contact record here and continue on managing that contact. So you can imagine how powerful and easy this is to use the follow-up coach to get on track with your database, be reminded to organize people, relabel them, and also follow up with them if you need to. And if not, you can just skip that follow-up. They'll be marked as done. You can move on to the next person. And if you have some extra time, feel free to refresh the follow-up coach, and you can keep using it to reach out to more people or reach up to check on more contact records. So, but as a challenge to everyone watching, if you're a brand new user, I'd say my challenge would be to get in there, go through the 5 contacts a day, and I think you'll very quickly see how easy, effective it is to clean up your database and get some legitimate follow-up done at the exact same time. And you'll have all that documented in Top Producer X. And documentation is a big part of it. You're going to want to be able to reference when you made that call, what you talked about, which properties you're interested in, so on and so forth. And that's, the power of something like TPX. Build those personal relationships, have all the information at your fingertips, and you're going to have the edge over other realtors in your area that are not investing in something like this. So that is the follow-up coach at a glance. Nice example here just to help get you on track. And then after a few weeks of using the follow-up coach, you can imagine pretty much every single suggestion in here is going to be super accurate, super curated, and super relevant after you get through the sort of process of cleaning up your database. So I'd recommend logging into the CRM every day. Check your task list in the morning, grab a coffee, check on your tasks due today, take care of this task, mark it as done, do what you need to, make some phone calls that are pending. And then after that, if you got some extra time, go to your contacts page, hit up the follow-up coach, see what else you can do, and get some extra work done, and don't let anyone fall through the cracks. So that's the follow-up coach. Highly recommend it for any agent anywhere in their business, new, experienced, new top producer user, long-term top producer user. Everyone can benefit from such an easy-to-use and beneficial tool. So what we're going to do next is talk about what the next steps for you guys are. So you know how to log in, you know what settings can be configured, you know how to import contacts, use the follow-up coach, but what's the next steps? So we have tons of resources available, everything from quick start videos, articles, other webinar content, and of course our great customer care team is always here for you. We have lots of staff dedicated to being there for you guys, questions, comments, tech support, tips and tricks, best practices, whatever you need, just reach out to us. We're always learning, always trying to improve our processes. And like I said, we want to see you guys succeed with our product. We're passionate about what we do. And, you guys are out there on the road, on the run, talking to people, selling houses, making deals. There's a lot going on. And so we want to be able to make your half an hour, your hour in front of the computer as productive as possible. So that being said, let's show you how to find some resources in TPX. Ali saying, thank you, Spencer. Great information. Shout out to Marvin. He's quick to share the links in his top of the chats. Thank you. Yeah, Marvin knows what he's doing. Marvin's been here for a good amount of time. He's, like I said, he's a research technician, very experienced at Top Producer. He's the guy that gets fixes the issues behind the scenes, communicates with us and customers and developers. And so, yeah, Marvin's the real hero behind the scenes. So, guys, want to show you next how to access some resources and support through Top Producer X. As I said, you can always feel free to access the live chat support in the bottom right of your CRM, which ironically is not showing up for me right now. Let me just switch my camera. So yeah, live chat support, bottom right of your CRM, accessible during our business hours. Great option for quick questions, comments, etc. Then if you go up to the top right corner here and click on your profile picture, or if you don't have one set, it'll be a little gray kind of humanoid looking button. Click on that and you'll see in the top right, settings, support site. So just click on support site, and this will bring you to the Top Producer campus page. This is your hub for everything Top Producer. Top Producer X, Market Snapshot, 5 Street, website, Top Producer Mobile. You can find all that here. And so individual articles broken down about different settings and features. So you see here, very, very detailed, whatever you want is here. You can use the search feature to narrow down things. Maybe you want to learn more about lead forwarding. There you go. There's some information on lead forwarding with 5 Street. Maybe you want to set up your MLS. Lots of information there. And then, guys, what I highly recommend for you next, though, is the quick start videos. So right in the center here, video library. This is going to allow you to see a compilation of all the different videos we put together. We've worked very hard on this. Myself, my colleague Olivia, Dan, Tim, we've all worked on these quick start videos here, covering everything from importing contacts to customizing your sales pipeline, setting up texting, MLS, important dates, lead providers, even how to reset your password, add it to home screen on your phone, things like that. Lots of great information here and very quick, concise, informative, clean videos. So, and then what you can also do is access our webinar schedule. So along the top menu bar here, webinar schedule. If you haven't accessed the show via the webinar schedule today, maybe someone linked you to it. Well, here is the actual schedule. So you'll see here is the show that you're viewing right now, 23rd, getting started with TPX. So guys, highly recommend, check out those quick start videos. Call us if you need anything. And then also feel free to join me on my Thursday show. This is 4 things you'll want to know after you set up TPX. So the natural next step, you can go here, set a reminder on your Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, go to YouTube. This is going to allow you to set a reminder right on YouTube. So live in 46 hours, set reminder. And then guys, while you're here, if you enjoyed the content today, would definitely appreciate it if you give the video a like. You can also subscribe to our YouTube page and click the little notification bell to make sure that you stay on top of all the new coaching and information, content that we put out for Top Producer X. This is all coaching and help oriented. So definitely YouTube is the place to go to learn about how to use Top Producer X and learn how to be successful with it. So leave that up to you guys if you'd like. And you can also access our Facebook user group by clicking on Facebook along the top bar here. This is going to launch you right into the official Top Producer user group within our Facebook page. So there'll be a button up here that will allow you to request to join. It's just going to ask you if you're a Top Producer customer, and you should be allowed access pretty quickly. And then you can join in some great conversations between, you see here's an update about some bug fixes and updates in TPX. You see here's some fellow Top Producer users commenting here. This guy's saying thank you for the update with this great picture of Michael Scott and then from The Office. And then, lots of different updates, little engagement questions, things like this, asking what you'd like to see in future content. We have a testimonial here by Ali. Ali's watching right now live. She's a long-term Top Producer user that really uses it to its fullest, especially for transaction management. You could always comment on here and maybe chat with Ali, and I'm sure she'd be happy to engage with you about that as a fellow Top Producer subscriber. But that being said, Christine Rogers, our social media manager, monitors this all the time, and she'd be happy to chat with you guys as well. So lots of different resources to check on. Take a look at the support page, go in any learning direction you want, and just keep in mind, we are here for you guys every step of the way. Give us a call, live chat, reference articles, quick start videos, get into that follow-up coach and make sure that you're staying on top of your database and cleaning it up. And you're going to be successful at TPX. Doesn't take much. You just need to put in the time and dedication and make sure you're using it for everything. Document as you go. Because the more you start relying on it and the more you start using it, the more it's naturally going to give back to you. So guys, that is all I have for today. Going to, like I said, keep on top of the quick start videos, reach out to us, reference any material you want, and that way you'll be on track to being a top producer. So guys, This has been Spencer with Top Producer's Customer Success Team once again, joined by Marvin in the live chat, Research Technician. And yeah, we were both happy to see you. I'm glad to see you took the initiative to learn how to get started properly. And there's plenty more to learn from here. So this is just the beginning. And little bit of effort goes a long way. You and your business will benefit greatly. So guys, once again, thank you so much for joining in today. Tune in next time. Join me on Thursday. Call our customer care team. We'd be happy to hear from you. And see you then. Thank you.